Yo team, checking in with you. Today I just wanted to reiterate and expand on a few of the points I made in a back to school Snapchat story I posted yesterday. And I think the punchline to it is it's just about focusing on what you think you can reasonably change and control in those first 1 to 3 weeks at school. So the recommendation I made is that you focus on 3 things: routine building, organisation, and paying attention. So let me go through those and add a little bit of colour to them, expand on them a bit, and hopefully it'll add some more value to you. So the first thing, routine building. Why is this so important and how do you do it? Well, the most important thing to remember about a routine is that it solves so many problems because it makes the day predictable, right? You know what's going to happen and when. You know what you're meant to be doing. You know how you're meant to be doing it. Then it's just the challenge of motivating yourself and forcing yourself to do it. But that challenge becomes a lot easier when you've already got it laid out. You know what the planner says. You've told yourself to do that thing in, when you're in a very measured, calm state. And you're then going to be able to execute on it a lot more easily because it's black and white. It's there for you to do. It's clearly laid out. The other thing about a routine that's really interesting is everybody thinks that with a routine maybe you get less freedom because, it just sounds like more things to do, more rigid structure, and all in all just less freedom. You can't make those spontaneous decisions. When actually, what I'd argue from personal experience and just listening to other people on the internet, especially people who have been successful in business or perhaps even like physical health. The routine, so in business, setting up your meetings, knowing when you're doing your calls, having everything really running like clockwork, or in physical health, the gym, knowing your meal times, knowing when you're hitting the gym, knowing your sleep times, all the important things to actually building your physical health. It creates more freedom and you can take on way more things. And freedom for me would be being able to do whatever you want when you want, right? If you have a lot of things to do every day, it will force you to become more organised. You'll be able to have more freedom because you're able to do more of what you want to do when you want to do it. And I really tried to test myself during school with this idea. I threw myself at absolutely everything. I did the most random activities and extracurricular stuff. I just did everything that you could possibly do, ranging from music, debating, theatre, sport. Obviously sport I loved just genuinely, but the other stuff I was more just tasting and checking if I liked them or checking if I was good at them or if I could even become better at them. And a lot of the evenings that I had, I'd actually have to do a lot of stuff anyway in addition to my homework. But what that made me be is I was extremely efficient with my time, or I was trying to get as fit. Obviously I'm more efficient now and I can still improve miles, and I'm learning off loads of people, especially during my time working at VaynerMedia. I learned huge amounts about how I could become efficient. I saw some of the methods I was using as pretty crap and stupid. So I've tried to, obviously I'm still trying to learn, but I think if you can just treat yourself as a work in progress, using this routine to take on more and more stuff, and obviously there's a limit, and that's why I'm saying don't try and change, and I did make this point in the Snapchat story yesterday as the caveat, don't try and change too many things at once. If you just try and do everything all in one go, you're not going to be able to do that. It's a bit like going to the gym and you've never deadlifted in your life, and just trying to clean press 100 kgs. It's just not going to happen, right? You're going to do your back in. In fact, you're going to injure yourself, and then you're going to be out of action for a bit. In the same way, if you try and max load your routine, you're gonna max out too early. You're gonna lose motivation. It's gonna be that New Year's resolution vibe of 2 weeks of a crazy sprint, and then you give it up. A year goes by, nothing's changed. So just take it easy. Change one or two things. Maybe start getting up at the same time every day. Maybe start going to bed the same time every day. Pilot that for a week. Maybe take on a new activity in the evening to give you a bit of structure, so you're not just flicking through Netflix and watching shows and that's overrunning into your study time. Give yourself some structure around the day. So let's move on. The second thing, organisation. Crucial to be organised. And what I mean by this is knowing the tools you need and having them on deck and available. I used to go to class, it's just basic stuff this, guys. I used to go to class without a pen and a pencil. It was nuts. And the teacher would say, "Why aren't you writing anything?" I'm like, "Well, I don't have the tools. I don't have." And I was just lazy. I knew you had to have them. I just forgot to put one in my pocket. How can you make that really easy for yourself? If you have a school bag, I didn't even have a school bag. I just carried around my folders. Yeah, crazy. I didn't have a school bag, so I wouldn't turn up with a pen or a pencil sometimes, and that meant I was out of the game. No chance of writing notes there. Didn't have a phone in class. Again, this was back in kind of 2010 area, so obviously the iPhone just coming out in, 2008. Oh, it really wasn't, something that was feasible to take notes on. And yeah, basically I was in a pretty rogue position because I just wasn't coming to class with the right stuff. So just get a school bag, put your pens and stuff in there, and then there's no way, unless you forget your school bag, and if you do that, you're completely out of the game. I mean, you got to go home and get it. And just have your basic stuff there, like the stuff that you use to take notes in. Have a folder for that. Have an A4 pad of paper. Have your pens, ruler, all the calculator, all the stuff that you possibly need. Cover it. And you know this better than I do in terms of what subjects are you doing, what's needed for them. Put it in your bag, keep it in there, crack on. The other thing is have a system on how you take notes during the day. So whether you're bringing all your folders to lessons, if you've got them all at school, or you can just have them at home and have like a portable folder where you have little file sleeves that you can put the work in that you've done that day, and be organised about, okay, every day I come home, I transfer the notes over, I put them into my folders. And it's another really good skill to get into, because you're doing a mini review of your work every day, and as we know, that's one of the key revision techniques you need to use. It is to a certain extent active recall, because when you're glancing at the paper, when you put it back into the folder that's meant to be in, you're saying, oh, okay, let me just see if I can pull out a few things or remind myself of what this was generally about by just glancing and not reading in full the notes. And you're also spacing that out. It's a little break, and since you last did it, you're just checking it over again. It's another little impression on your brain, and getting that info to stay put and be a little bit more solidified. Have your timetable on deck. Have your timetable with you all the time. Have it either printed out and stuck on the inside cover of one of your books, or just take a picture of it on your mobile phone. You have it with you all the time. It's quick draw. Take your phone out of your pocket, look at your timetable, you know where you need to be and what you're doing there. Really, really important, because if you're late for classes, it just sets you off on the wrong foot, and then before you know it, however long your classes are, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever they are, it's gone, and you haven't set off on the right foot. You lost momentum, and you haven't got the notes you need to take for the day. Final point I made on that Snapchat story yesterday as I weave my way through these bushes with the revision retrievers. I'm on a dog walk at the moment, podcasting. This is my studio. Anyway, final point is paying attention. Look, this is a really interesting one, and I'm going to do a bit more research into the science behind it, but I just remember at school, and it was such a big thing. I just daydream or just lose interest, and the solve to that for me was actively telling myself at the beginning of every class, look, switch on. Whether that was a thing I'd drawn on my book, just saying switch on or focus, whether it was the main goal in the class every time was just me checking in myself every 5 minutes and being like, right, pay attention. What's the teacher saying? Listen to it. Do you understand that? Yes or no? If not, ask a question. If yes, cool. Keep paying attention. Real simple stuff like that is just gold, I think, because it forces you to actively do something in the classroom. A lot of the times I would walk in and say, right, it's a lesson, I don't need to do anything, just sit down, teacher talks, cool. Completely passive experience right there. If you say, okay, it's a lesson, first thing I need to do is do 5-minute intervals of trying to pay as much attention as I possibly can. There you go, that's a task for you to do already. You're active, you're participating. In a weird way you are, in your head you are, and it does make a difference. So try it. Try to do that and just break the class down. You know, it's a 45-minute class. Break it down into roughly 4 10-minute intervals. Can you pay attention for 4 10-minute intervals? See it as set training in the gym. See it as, you know, you're doing 10 passes on the footy field, or 10 line-out throws on the rugby pitch. However you want to put it, whatever your strong point is that you can relate to. If you do gaming, you know, can you get on a 10 kill streak on COD? Whatever it is, just think about it in that way. Can you stack those things up and get some momentum going? Give yourself stuff to do, and then you'll find that actually things start to pick up a bit of momentum. You start to understand things. You start to actually say, okay, that wasn't that difficult. I've got that now. And all I've got to do now is refresh the information in my mind, ready for the exam. Stay calm in the exam. Know the exam coach way of just setting up a routine around it. Boom, you execute the exam. Job's a good one. So, hope that sets you off on the right track. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'm checking out. See you tomorrow.